All right, we're recording. Woohoo! So I'm Kathy Bisbee. I'm the Executive Director of Brookline Interactive Group and the founder of the Public VR Lab. Welcome to our space into Brookline. I want to introduce my co-partner in this, Craig. Herndon from Boston VR. And I'm really excited that Boston VR, along with Jeff Jacobson and Jeff Dale. Anybody else from Boston VR? Who's a part of Boston VR? Awesome. Thank you guys for coming and representing. We're always really super excited when we get to co-host a joint meetup. And it's like the perfect number of people for a holiday event. So thank you guys for coming. I'm going to be talking later, but I'm going to hand it over to Craig so he can kind of talk a little bit about Boston VR and some of the things that Boston VR has going on.
Excellent. Thanks. So if you're not familiar with Boston VR, it's a 501c3 nonprofit. We're all volunteer run. So there's more ways to interact with us than just our events. So we have our Google group and Twitter. So that's the main way to do it. So if you take pictures tonight, you can just tweet them at us. And then if you're looking for jobs in the VR industry, we have our LinkedIn page where we encourage people who reach out to us being like, hey, we want to hire people. We encourage them to post on our LinkedIn page. And then if you're working on a problem and you need help with it, we have our Slack channel. So you can just reach out to me and I can help you get set up on that. And then lastly, Jason has taken charge of our Steam group to try and get people actively playing VR together online. So that's just Steam group / Boston VR. There we go. So another way to get in touch with us is through our podcast. So this is what we use to get the voice of our community as well as the wider virtual and augmented reality community. So our 11th episode, we actually interviewed Kathy here. So if you want to hear more about the Native Immigrants experience that's here tonight, and want to know what her thoughts on were a year ago, you can do that by listening to our podcast. So we have a bunch of demos here tonight. So EFF has their spotless surveillance, and then Jeff Jacobson has brought his Magic Leap. So if you haven't tried that yet, it's pretty cool. And then the Public VR Lab, which is a part of Brookline Interactive Group, has brought their Made by Immigrants experience that Kathy was just talking about. And then lastly is the crowdsource intel, which they'll talk about a bit later, but my understanding, so please correct me if I'm wrong, is that they're using like your Twitter account to kind of show you how that matches up with like potential terrorists and how you might end up on a list.
I was like 76% likely to be a terrorist, so, those public interest people.
So if there are anyone else that brought any demo, please raise your hand now and you can talk about it. 3, 2, 1. Yep. So if you haven't signed up for the Reality Virtually Hackathon in January, signups are still open. So if you want to do that, you should have links in your email if you've signed up to our Meetup Blast on links to sign up for this. And then Kathy, I'll switch over to you for this.
Oh, okay. So well, actually, Lori might be a better person. Lori, are there any Women in Next Reality meetups happening anytime soon? Or maybe before the next Boston VR meetup? We often gather, usually at a bar or a location very near the Boston VR meetup, just to meet as women folk in the VR space to talk about some of the unique challenges that we have and opportunities. Anything you want to add?
I think maybe we will do one before the next Boston VR meetup. I think that's an awesome idea. So anyone who's interested in that, please join. Please join the meetup, the Women in the Next Realities meetup, and then we can invite your friends, and then we'll have a quick hello, and then head over to the other meetup, the pre-meetup meetup, and then go to the post-pre-meetup meetup.
It's a very friendly group, so please come join us. Yeah.
And then we also have the Boston Augmented Reality group. So yeah, there's lots of other groups. It's a very thriving ecosystem right now. So if you're not familiar with them, that was actually founded by Neil Gupta, who came out of Boston VR and founded Boston AR.
We should have a meetup of all the meetups.
Yes.
Like a super meetup.
Yes. Jeff, are you still hiring?
Maybe. We finally found a good candidate, but if you are a UI UX designer that also knows the VR side of things, we are working on virtual reality and robotic surgery.
Oh, wow.
So we also have our t-shirts here tonight. So they're $15 each, and if you want a deductible on your taxes, we can write you a letter for that too. All right. And then can we get a round of applause for all our volunteers? So if you're interested in helping out, talk to either myself or Jeff Jacobson over here, because we do have like a list of things people can do to help out. And then please give us feedback. So if there's anyone you want to see or would like to, a topic you would like to hear about that we haven't covered in a while, just let us know. And one of the good ways to do that is on Twitter, but also just messaging me on Meetup works as well. And a big thank you to Brookline Interactive and the Public VR Lab for hosting us tonight.
Thanks for coming. I also want to give a shout out. Who is here for the Dev Jam on Saturday? Raise your hands. Awesome. So was that fun? Did you guys have a good time?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to thank Jeff Jacobson in particular for all of his efforts to make that happen. Please stand up.
I should say, usually the second Saturday of every month, we get together here at Big and we just make VR all day, AR and XR. So
join
come
us.
on by.
Yeah. And Jeff is a wonderful mentor and helps people make all kinds of cool things. So introduce yourself to him. Yeah. I should also mention we're going to be doing our, I think we're going to do a Dev Jam rather than a hackathon maybe for the CivicXR. So not to be confused with this event tonight, but a CivicXR opportunity as a development jam in late April. So put it on your calendar, the end of April, a big jam for how do we create content in the public interest. And that is, of course, why we're all here tonight. So I'm going to introduce people and I have to read, and if I get your name said incorrectly. Oh, and Nir also has our little t-shirt plug too. I'm gonna have him just hold one up for us.
I will not take my shirt off.
We got this really cool budding graphic designer, well, graphic by Nir, but the t-shirt's made by this place out in Holyoke. Made by immigrants, because if you're a citizen of this country, you were made by immigrants or migrant. So feel free to come up and talk to Nir about how you can get one of those shirts as well. And we also have stickers. These are free, so please put them everywhere. So I want to thank all the presenters also who decided to come all the way from San Francisco and all the way from Northeastern and all the way from Boston Children's Hospital to come be a part of this tonight. This is a really special event. There's really, that we know of, no one else that is really talking about virtual reality in the public interest, right? There's lots of people who are talking about it in the consumer space. How do we make money with virtual reality? But there's really nobody but the Public VR Lab and some of our partners around the country who are talking about what's the public interest in all this? How do we think about the public's interest? How do we make sure that the public's interest is represented in this nascent field of virtual reality and augmented reality? So we invite you to become part of what we like to call a new field and a new movement, and we're calling it Community XR. And this is really our first event that's kind of called CivicXR, and we hope to have many others like the Dev Jam in April and others. So if you're interested in getting involved, let us know. We also, I'll tell you more about what we do and how you can get involved with BIG in the Public VR Lab later, but I just wanted to acknowledge this is really our first CivicXR event, and we're really excited to have it tonight.